Hello, ladies. So today we're going to look at how to navigate the Wonders website. So we'll have a few recordings. The first one is once you log in and you select grade 5, we come here with the landing page. Uh, if I click today, you're going to find that actually this is where when you open up, it'll be Unit 4, Week 1 as the time when I'm recording this. Now, what happens when we're doing things from Unit 3? So we click on this button here, Unit 4. It's going to pop open all of the units we have. So we go to Unit 3 and we select Week 3 because we are currently working with this story. Once you open, you can see we have today's presentation. This gives you a hint that we're in the right place with the essential question. Now, on this page, you have some nice extra sources here that if you click it, this button, it's going to pop open with an extra differentiated reading passage that we can assign for extra work. Okay, so it's going to show up as all the different levels. If you want to separate them later, you're going to have to go to another direction, which I will show you later. But as you can see, if I take this first one, it is A for approaching, which means below level. If we come here, you'll find O for on level, and you can tell that the passage is getting a bit longer. And even the question doesn't have the prompting sentence starters. And then if you come down here, we have B for beyond, which means above level. And all the way down here, you have the E for the English language learners, which makes it a little bit easier language, and it gives you more sentence frames for the kids to work with when it comes to answering. Okay. So back here, you also have this one, which I think is really useful. I think we can start putting that on the Google Classroom, which is Gulf Spills Superhero. These dots indicate the levels that they relate to. More about that later. You click this, you'll find that it opens up with nice completed to answer the summarized, which actually, maybe we can do this as a homework next time. Okay. Then on this side, you're going to find up here the weekly concept. Nice. Our essential question will always be displayed on top. Now the planner. The blue boxes here, when you open up, it'll show like this. So I'm going to unpack this by clicking down the arrow. And then you're going to have all the resources you need bit by bit in this section. We start here with talk about it, where you're introducing the genre. So it has the resources that relate to the graphic organizer, some extra materials, learning goals, and everything. Gives you some things that you can say what helps you understand why this is important and how to approach kids as a lesson plan. Down here, this is what we need to start doing at the beginning of each genre, which is the listening comprehension. So in the lesson resources, you have two boxes. This one is the audio with just pictures, and this is the text that we look at as the teacher. We don't show this to the kids because we want them to work on their listening skills. I'm going to click this open first so you can see what the text is like. Here we have the title of the passage, and these numbers relate to questions that I write on the board and ask them to copy down so that they can answer them. And then I know that it's going around this area. This is where they're going to be listening for the answer for this. In this paragraph, they're going to be listening for the answer to this question. And at the very end, this is the wrap up, follow up, which kind of works towards the summarizing and the theme skill. Now going back to Wonders here, I click this, it'll pop open, and you have the images for them to see, and then they can press play to listen to it. Very simple, easy to access, not at all challenging. Going back here again to Wonders, if you scroll down, you will find the genre features. You can have one of the kids make an anchor chart while you're working on it. You have these read and respond again, how to do this, how to help the kids sort of wrap their mind around the concepts that they're learning. And as you go down each one of these, you're going to find the same thing. This one now has the shared read. You click it, it'll pop open. And voila, you have tools that you can annotate with. This will be a different video, but now we can switch through the pages, and I think you are already familiar with this part. Okay. Come back here, and as I scroll down, you're going to find all of the material you can use to create your lesson plans, page by page 34 to 35, telling them what to do step by step until you become familiar enough with the content and the passages and the style of the way Wonders works and how we approach the teaching through it. And then you'll be able to have them then work. You can develop bits and pieces from it on your own. But as you can see, for every paragraph, every page is giving you the support that you need, including the support for the English language learners, especially when it comes to things like extra things, like idioms here. And of course, the ACT, which is access to complex text. This is something that you can also share with them at the beginning to help them unpack it. So, for example, with this story, I shared the fact that I remember watching the news about this, the Deep Horizon spill. So that gives them that kind of context of this is something that is a little bit older, not so old, but it happened. And then they start to think about these issues and the pollution. So I gave them a way through my own personal experience of how I remember watching this and the catastrophe that it was and etc. So if you go down to day 1, you will find all the information you need for what can be taught, including for the stories, like the vocabulary cards. If you click this, this will not open, this will open only as a words to know here. You click it word by word, gives you can listen to it here. This is the example. This is the routine. You can flip through them page by page to different words, or you can go back to the home landing where you have all 8 of them. Okay, this is different than the vocab cards that can be downloaded. As you can see the way this picture looks, and then that's in another area. We'll go over that later in another video. Okay, so you have the vocabulary words, how to scaffold it, etc. Now, you'll notice that there's day 1, day 2, day 3. If I go to day 2, I'm going to have the same things here, more or less, but the different skills that can be tackled on the second day for the deeper reading. Now, I know we have limited time, so we don't get to go through all of these in extreme details, but some of them are already things that they know, like what's the problem, what's the solution? And since they've already covered this kind of text structure feature, then it's easier for them to tackle it without having to spend an immense amount of time teaching it, because we're just redoing these same skills over and over again. If you'll notice, by the time we get to day 3, this is where the anchor text starts to come in. Now, this is the one that is only online. We don't have a hard copy of it. So Winter's Tale, if you click it, I'll show you what it looks like. It's just like the other one, the literature anthology, sorry, the shared read from the Reading Writing Companion, but it's actually a little bit longer. Page by page, lots of pictures, stop and ask questions along the way. And this is what we can then assign to them online for their homework. And these are the questions that you can actually ask them to answer. Now, after this, there is the shared read that you can have them go and do beyond. And this can be extra work for the students who are more advanced, or the ones who want extra work. It's always good to have more reading. shorter passage, and you'll find some access to questions, I think, in the reading writing companion. Now, how do I assign this to the kids? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button here, and over here it gives you the things that you need, detailed standards, and then you can assign the resource. Okay, I'm going to put the date in here. I just did this one earlier. Go into here, set the date for when it's going to be assigned. I want it to show up in their to-do list on Tuesday. I want it to be due by the Tuesday after. The expiration date, I tend to put it as after the term ends. So let's say 24 is the last day technically of the term after the Eid breaks for us. And then it goes to become it'll disappear from their to-do list. Then I'm going to select all, so be assigned to everyone. So if I'm doing leveled readers, I can assign it to some people, not others, depending on who I'd like to give it to. And voila, I'll press assign and it will appear for them on the 3rd in their to-do list. How am I going to manage this later? I'm going to go up here to assignment manager, which is this. And when it gets assigned, you're going to find it popping up here. Okay. So going back to the main place, we click wonders up here. And I have access to everything. So go day by day. If there's something that you need extra support in and you don't find it on day one, you're going to find it somewhere in here. All right, so this is our first video of how to navigate this first panel. I'm going to go back here and just give you a quick overview of this part, which is the gray sign on the right with the standards. So I know what these standards are. These are just the numbers, the Common Core standards. If you click the view standard details, it'll give you the text about what each one means. Okay. You'll find this also in our scope and sequence. This is where we got standards from for our scope and sequence. These are the objectives of this lesson. Why is it complex? Tells you why. How do we do close reading for the Doc 1, Doc 2, 3, and Doc 4? First part, reading, rereading, and then how do we integrate it with new knowledge? The differentiated reading, okay? For any newcomers, what can we do for them? How do we synthesize the information? How do we connect it to the context of why is this so important? Well, we're looking at science and technology because this also relates to the teamwork in space and so forth. So you have all of this information. Now, all of this is related to this page. If I switch to go back to page 1, you'll find page 1 is only different standards because we're still listening, speaking and listening. The objective here is a bit different because we're still just introducing, okay? I go to day 2. Let's say Gulf spills. That's what we talk about. Now here we have the reading skill, the objective. All right. So just as a beginning introduction, this is how you find the information. This is how you assign it to them. And when you assign it, if you come back here to our landing page, you will see that this is the student edition. This is what it looks like to the student. So I'm going to go into 5A. And it's going to appear in this to-do section. So then they have a list of all their assignments that will be here. When they save work, it's going to come here. They can also access these things online through this platform. So for here, I can click this, launch workbook, and it will automatically launch their version of it so they can annotate online, which is also something that you can consider a skill for them to learn, but maybe later on in the year once they've started mastering things. All right, so this is our first video. The next video I'm going to do will go into the resource button on the top tabs. Stay tuned.